Welcome back to another race breakdown, everyone. I'm Kevin Sully, and today we're mixing it up a little bit. We're going to go back in time to the 2015 Men's Championship of America 4x mile at the Penn Relays. Now, if you've never seen this race before, you're in for a treat. One of the most bizarre races you'll ever seen. And if you've already seen it, join me as we go down memory lane. Now, this is the third leg, passing to the fourth leg. Here you see Will Gohegan of Oregon and Pat Tiernan of Villanova, handing off to Edward Cheserek of Oregon and Jordy Williams of Villanova. So we're going to stop here, back up a little bit, and give you some context. Now, the day before at the Penn Relays, these two teams were involved in the distance medley relay. Williams versus Cheserek on the anchor leg. Cheserek kicked away, as he had done so many times before up till this point in his career. Splits about a 3:59 to win the DMR. Williams ran really well, but was runner-up. And we were anticipating something quick. Oregon had an incredibly strong team here. Daniel Wynn, Johnny Gregorek, Gohegan, and Ches. People were thinking, hey, can the four of them combine for under 16 minutes? And when they passed the baton off, 12:06, 12:05 on the clock, it still looked possible that there would be a fast time. Now, keep in mind, this is Cheserek's sophomore year, but he's already 7 NCAA titles in. His reputation precedes him. We'll keep this rolling, and Stanford, Sean McGorty in the mix, as well as Georgetown and Cornell. But early on, you could see this was going to be not your ordinary anchor leg, even by the standard of tactical anchor legs, because Williams and Cheserek are out very slowly. And Cheserek has really no intention of leading this race. Stanford, Georgetown, Cornell already working their way back into this race as they go out extremely conservatively. Now, as I mentioned before, Cheserek the day before was in the catbird seat against Williams, had the strong kick over the last 200, but he really was not interested in doing any sort of leading in this race. You can already see him looking around. He was definitely more comfortable coming from behind, but at this point, Cheserek, 3:36 1500-meter runner. If he wanted to go from the front, he absolutely could have, but he was completely confident that he could win this race from whatever position. Williams, more of an 800-meter runner, still strong in the 1500, had run a 3:39 leading into this race. Now, this second lap is where things get incredibly weird. You see Cheserek really puts on the brakes here. Now, they weren't out that quick, 65, 66-ish for that first lap. But at this point, he wants to relinquish the lead, and he slows down a bunch, almost motioning for Williams to pass him on the inside. Williams, though, doesn't take the bait, and then this thing just gets into a traffic jam immediately. You look right here, Georgetown, Belay looking around as if, wait a minute, what's going on here? Is this still a race, or did this thing stop? Have we decided as a group that we're just going to walk around? I mean, they're like shrugging here on the backstretch. 5 of them all bunched up together. Now, Williams doesn't want to take the lead either. McGorty doesn't. And then eventually, watch this, Cornell runner, Pat Belay on the back says, hey, man, just go. Just go. So then he takes off. All right. So this is the move. He's looking up at the crowd. At this point, the crowd had started booing the runners. So he takes off down the backstretch. There he is, completely turned to the side. I'm not sure if he's looking at his coach or just in total shock about what is happening in this race. So what does everybody do, of course? They follow him. But then, just as soon as he gets going, slams on the brakes, and then we're back to the jog fest. Now, Cheserek keeps going and looks like, all right, now we're on. This thing is going to pick up. And that one little 100 or 200 meter stretch is just going to be something that we laugh about in retrospect. But no, they're going to slow down again here. So that weird 150 allowed some of these teams to catch up. And you can see them in the back. They're still quite a ways back, but the Cornell runner has been dropped again. Cheserek, look where he is, all the way almost out in 2, because he's just creating an invitation for everybody to pass him. He has absolutely no interest in leading this race. Just such a bizarre sight here. So this will be halfway. I clocked this one around 70 seconds. So even though they slowed completely down, they did a fair bit of running there. They did a couple meters there hard. So now they're 65, 66, and then a 70s. Okay, so now we have a move from the front, because look at this. Look at what's happened. You have Wisconsin in the mix, leading 3 other teams who are way back at the last exchange and have just been methodically working their way up. Less than 800 meters to go. So now the amount of teams that are involved in this went from 2 at the beginning, where it was just Villanova and Oregon, to 5, and now 4 more are joining in to make it a grand total of 9 teams that are still involved with 700 meters to go. Cheserek there, still in second place. Now he's on the rail. Williams behind him, McGorty in the red of Stanford. Oklahoma moving up on the outside. Everybody got a chance to take a lead at this race. It's very clear Ches wants to stay in second because as soon as someone moves, he covers the move. But then when he gets to the front, he's like, no, I don't want to touch the front. I just want to stay in second the entire time. McGorty on Cheserek's shoulder. Williams there in fourth. Belay of Georgetown in fifth. So we're at 500 meters to go. All right, now what's going to happen at the bell lap? They take it around 15:24, 15:25 with 1 to go. And we have an acceleration which leaves 6 teams involved. So some of that group joined, some of that group didn't quite get there, and now the race is on. And look at this. Look how much of a mess this is. You have Wisconsin moving up on the outside, but Ches, putting him in the position of second the whole way around, finds himself boxed here. Look at this. He has to almost come to a complete stop and then try to move to the outside around McGorty. Again, this was made so difficult because of those crazy slow first 2 laps. He could have just cruised from the front, but instead, we're now in this position where we're playing this convoluted game of cat and mouse. Hardy from Wisconsin tries to run away with it, but of course, everybody's able to cover this move because they've run the first 1,200 so slowly. Now Ches is in the lead. McGorty behind him. You see Williams get past Hardy, and it becomes very clear it's a 2-person race. Now, like I said, the day before DMR, we had a similar situation. Ches was able to outkick Williams and get the win. But that was off a 3:59 pace. That was off a 3:59. This pace is north of 4:10 at this point. And when you do that, and when you take the race in such a strange direction, even if you're the best kicker in the race no longer resembles any sort of normal race. And that opens yourself up for just a bunch of random outcomes, random positioning, random people in your way. And we saw a lot of energy being expended early on in this lap by Ches, trying just to get around people. Yes, Ches had a great kick, but this is such a strange race. This is not your traditional sitting kick. This is even slower than that. So here we go, 100 meters to go. Williams, more of an 800-meter guy. He's licking his chops now. He's got Ches in his sights and is able to go right past Cheserek. Cheserek tries to respond, but is going to run out of room. And Williams scores the big upset. Stanford gets in for third. Let's look over at these splits. So you had 413.6 for Williams, 414.4 for Ches. By far the slowest of the group. Remember, they got the baton. Basically, if they had run a 3:56, they would have gone under 16 minutes. I mean, they could have even gone slower and gotten the Penn Relays record of 16:04. But that pace went from tactical to farcical, and we were left with just a completely random finish there. And Oregon and Cheserek end up on the wrong side of that race. But as I mentioned before, just a wild, wild race. Now, of course, Cheserek goes on to win 10, count them, 10 more NCAA titles in his career. But a weird part of his career and, of course, Penn Relays history. This year's Penn Relays are on FloTrack. Check that out at the end of April. We'll have more Penn Relays breakdowns and other race breakdowns on the site, and subscribe to the FloTrack YouTube page. We'll see you next time.